Good morning, students. Now, today we are going to start with 3.4, and the poem name is The Brook. Now, what is brook? Brook is nothing but a small stream or a lake, or you can call it as a small river. Now, this poem was written by the poet name is Alfred Lord Tennyson. Now, who is Alfred Lord Tennyson? He was a British poet born on 6th August 1809. His poem, basically his two poems are famous one, which I will give you information: The Lady of Charlotte, The Charge of the Light Brigade. And he was very popular in Queen Victoria period, and he used to write specially for the beauty of nature. In his poem, in every poem, he has shown us the beauty of nature through his poem while his writing, through his writing. So now the Brook poem is same as was written by the poet named Alfred Lord Tennyson. Now what is brook? Brook is a small stream or a lake, or you can call it as a river. Now here let's start with the stanza. There are 14 to 15 stanzas in this poem. I will start with stanza first. Now I will like to read the stanza for you, then I'll start with the explanation. I come from haunts of coot and hern. I make a sudden sally and sparkle out among the fern to bicker down a valley. So in first stanza, he tells us that in the first stanza of the poem, the speaker begins by announcing that he comes from the haunts of coot and hern. What is coot and hern? Coot and hern is nothing but a birds. See, this is a bird this bird is coot. This bird name is coot. He lives in the small marshy, that is wet places, in the small ponds. And this is hern. This bird is hern. It also lives in the marshes and the small ponds. And this bird basically we can find it in country like America. So here in the first stanza of the poem, the speaker begins by announcing that it comes from the haunts of coot and hern from contextual clues. Depending, it is immediately possible to discern that the speaker is an unusual one. The brook referenced in the title is describing its own life and nature. So the title, when you start reading the title, the brook, have you ever seen rivers do had some human feelings? No, but here the speaker has described the beauty of nature and his own life he has described through the poem. So it originated or was born to stick with the extended metaphor. At the heart of the poem, coot and hern refers to two different kinds of birds that live in marshy, wet places. Marshy, that is wet places. There are two different kinds of birds, coot and hern, and in still bodies of water like ponds, like water bodies like ponds, small ponds. The brook is going to undergo an interesting and meaningful transformation throughout the rest of the poem. So here, now the brook has started his journey. Whenever you start a train journey, you see different scenic views, you see different kinds of views. So here also brook, the river, now is going through a journey. Now he'll transform. How he'll transform this in this poem, we'll come to know about it. This change starts in the second line when it makes a sudden sally or moves suddenly forward and down into the valley. He makes a sudden sally or moves suddenly forward and down into the valley. He moves forward down into the valley. Now the transformation started. Tennyson used personification throughout the poem. So here Brook has given the human quality. So here he has uses the personification throughout the poem, allowing the brook to speak for itself in a very human way. So here he has described his own feelings, his own life throughout the poem. So he has written his own life in the form of poem. Now let's start with the second stanza. In the first stanza, here are some rhyming words: hern, firm, sally, valley. There are some rhyming words, and here you can see personification also, where he has given the human quality. River has given the human quality. Now river speaking throughout the poem. By 30 hills I hurry down, or slip between the ridge. By 20 troops a little town, and half 100 bridge. So in second stanza, the next stanza details some of the stream's progress as it moves through the countryside. Notice countryside, it's a village. Countryside is nothing but a village. It experiences various different homes, locations in town. It speaks about the hills, troops, or small villages, and the half a hundred bridge that it passes under. So here in second stanza is detailing about some. Now the stream is progressing as it is moving through the countryside, the village side. And have you seen the village? If you visit a village, if you go to the village, you can see rivers, you can see different towns, malls, houses, and locations. So here also now this brook, the river is passing through the different is moving and is passing through the countryside, and now is progressing. Now it is experiencing various different homes, locations in towns, and it speaks about the hills, troops, a small village, and the half a hundred bridge that it passes under. So now it's experiencing. See who experience human experience. So here Alfred Lord Tennyson has given the human quality, and whatever he has experienced in his life, he has written it through the poem. Now let's start with the stanza 3. Here in stanza 2 there are some rhyming words: downtown, bridge. Now let's start with the stanza 3. Till last by Philip Farm I flow to join the brimming river. For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. In this stanza it explains. The third stanza describes how the brook moves past a farm owned by someone named Philip. So farm, he is passing through the farm, and he knows that who is the owner of this farm, and the name of the person is Philip. See, how can a river know? But here he has described his life through the poem. He has written the poem and he describes his life through the poem. To join the brimming river, the brook has a real understanding of its environment and those who resides there. So brook has a real understanding of the environment. He knows the environment because he must have resided there. And he see, when how we know the environment of village or people, because we have resided, we must have stayed there for a long time, and that's why we know the environment. And we also know the name of the person. Even you stay at some place at particular time, for particular time being, for particular time period, so you started knowing the people, the neighbors, and you knows the name of the people who is residing beside you, next to you. So here also in the third stanza describes how the brook moves past a farm owned by someone named Philip. To join the brimming river, the brook has a real understanding of its environment and their who reside there. Knowing the name of the farm's owner is an interesting addition to the brook's abilities. So, ability of knowing someone's name is an interesting thing where the poet has shown in this poem. So, there is an interesting thing about it, that the farm owner is an interesting addition to the brook's abilities. So the brook's abilities is what he knows the name of the person, the owner of the person, and his name, that is Philip. So here is human quality as described, because human knows the name, no river, nothing. Because the thing is that, as I've told you before, the brook poem is written by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and he is describing his own life through this poem. So human knows the name of the person. So here also brook, whenever he is passing through any of the location, any of the town, any of the farm, he has that ability to know the name of the person too. Okay, so again I'll read the stanza for you. I come from haunts of coot and hun. I make a sudden sally and sparkle out among the fern to beckon down a valley. By 30 hills I hurry down, or slip between the ridge. By 20 troops a little town, and half a hundred bridge. Till last by Philip Farm I flow to join the brimming river. For men may come and men may go, but I go forever. So he is saying that in this, he is saying that in the third stanza, when it joins with the brimming river, the brook moves forward in its aging process. He is moving forward, and whenever we move forward in our life, we experience many different things in our life. So here also the river is moving forward. River flows, it never stops. So here also, when it joins in with the brimming river, the brook moves forward in its aging process. It is no longer a tiny trickle of water or standing water in a marsh. So now he is moving, so he's growing day by day. So he's no longer, when a small kid, when a small toddler takes birth, as birth takes place, you born, so he start growing slower and longer. He started growing. So here also the brook is not a small river, not a small, now it's growing day by day, because as it's passing is experiencing many things. So when it joins in with the brimming river, the brook moves forward in its aging process. It is no longer a tiny trickle of water or standing water in a marsh. Now it is stronger and much more powerful. Now the brook has become stronger, the river, the lake has become stronger and much more powerful, and it's moving day by day, very powerful and strong. This is solidifying its existence for an unknowable period of time. What the river does know about its life is that it's going to live much longer than any mortal man. So here river says, men may go or men may come, but I have that much longer life, that I'll stay for a long time, for a many years to go, many years to pass. So here what the river does know about its life is that it's going to live much longer than any mortal man. The river is going to live much longer than any mortal man. So men may go, men may come, but river is going to live his life for a long time period. This men come and go, and the brook is always there. Men will come and men will go. Generation will pass. Generation will go, generation will pass, next generation will come. The brook will stay forever there. The last two lines of this stanza are the refrain that appears several more times in the poem. So now the last two lines, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. This two lines will going to appear in every stanza of the poem, because book is telling that whatever he is experiencing through his life, but he is a river, he is a stream, he'll pass generation to generation, but here I will stay forever. Men may go, men may come, but I'll stay forever and ever. So in this three stanza, we have come to know that first stanza talks about the how he's passing, how he's suddenly moving, and how he is moving down the valley, and how he notices different kinds of birds. That two different kinds of birds are scoot and horn. In second stanza, he's by 30 hills I hurry down, or sleep between the ridge. By 20 troops a little town, and half 100 rich. Now how he's he gives some details about his how he's experiencing different kinds of location in countryside, but that is in village sides, and the half of the 100 which that is like now the three stanzas we have come to know about how brook, the river, has started his journey, and how he's experiencing, how he has seen different kinds of birds, how he's experiencing the journey, and how he knows the owner of the farm, that is the name of the person is Philip. How he's experiencing means he is experiencing the human quality, how humans experience, the book also experiencing the same thing. Now let's start with the stanza 4. Stanza 3 has give me the stanza 3 rhyming words. The stanza 3 has rhyming words: flow, go, river, ever. These are the rhyming words in stanza 3. Let's start with the stanza 4. I chatter over stony ways in little sharps and trebles. I bubble into edging bass. I babble on the pebbles. Now, stanza 4 explains us about here. Tennyson starts three of the 4 lines with the pronoun I. This makes sense as the brook is narrating its own life. It is making noises and moving as one would expect water. So here in stanza 4 he explains us about that I when we start I when we tell something about ourselves. I, for example, you tell about your name, or you tell something about yourself. So here also the brook has explained about the I. I means nothing but the pronoun I. Here the Tennyson start 3 of the 4 lines with the pronoun I. This makes sense so that the brook is narrating its own life. Like brook, the river is narrating his own life. Whenever you start with a long journey, you write your own memories, write down your own memories in the diaries. Then we start with I, how you have experienced the thing, how you know the person. So here also the Tennyson's line, 4th line with the pronoun I, makes sense as the whole poem is narrating its own life. How we narrate our life when we start something to talk about our life. So here also the poet brook is a river narrating its own life. It is making noises and moving, and one would expect water. So like it's making noises, it's moving us from one place to another. Like I shutter over stony ways, stones are coming in between. He's passing, is cutting through the stones and is moving in little sharp and trebles. I bubble into edging waves. I babble on the pebbles means what? The small white stone you see in the water. The ponds also, have you seen a fish tank? In that also the small pebbles are, you can see the small stones. He's passing through the river, is passing, and he is experiencing different kinds of thing. So here these are the 4 stanzas we have come to know about, that how the brook is experiencing and giving the explanation of his life in different forms of way.